This is a Connelly and Gardener Dutton.
Hello everyone.
Hello everyone.
Welcome to a very special edition of the Skinny Jean Gardener Podcast. This is the Halloween edition of the Skinny Jean Gardener Podcast. Something very different. Me and Olive are here. Say hello, Olive.
Hello.
And we are in the haunted woods, aren't we, Olive?
We know.
What, Olive?
We might meant to.
Yeah, oh, don't tell them that. Just pretend.
In the haunted wood.
Thank you. Oh. And today on the podcast, we've got a short story for you, Olive.
I like it.
You haven't listened to it yet? Brought to you by new gardening author, Mr. Richard Suggett. Richard Suggett! He's wrote you a story, Olive. Are you ready?
Yeah.
It's called Lee, the Ghostly Gardener.
Is that true?
No, it's not a real story. Just sit back. And listen to the story. I've not actually read this yet, so...
Daddy, is this love?
Yeah, wait for it, ready? You're going to love it. You're going to love this story, ready? Lee, the Ghostly Gardener. There once was a ghost called Lee. Lee loves wearing skinny jeans, but he loved his garden more. Every night he went out into his garden to do some gardening, but it never ended well. You see, every time Lee touched a plant, it would either wither and die. This led to every plant in Lee's garden looking brown and unattractive. Almost true story. This upset Lee so much that every night the locals would hear Lee wailing and crying. You're right, Olive. Just hide under the covers. This scared the locals because they didn't know what was upsetting Lee. They just thought the ghost was there to scare the locals away. The locals would share stories of the haunted garden around town they lived in. You right? Stay away from the haunted garden, or the ghost might turn you into compost, they would say. One day, a young girl called Olive said, "I'm afraid of no ghosts," and decided to go into Lee's garden. Olive also loved gardening. She would grow tulips and pumpkins, not so well this year, so much that she needed more space, and knew that the haunted garden was just the space she needed. She loaded up her wheelbarrow with her tools and plants, and off she went. As she got near to the haunted garden, she could hear Lee wailing, and she got a little scared, but said,
I'm not afraid of no ghosts. I'm lovely.
She said to herself as she entered into the haunted garden. Inside the garden, Olive looked round.
All the plants are dead,
she said to herself. Then she saw Lee crying his eyes out.
That's the ghost.
She said,
I'm afraid of no ghost.
But why is he crying, she wondered. She called out to Lee.
Oi, ghost, why are you crying?
Lee jumped from where he sat, shocked that someone had spoken to him. I love gardening, he said, but every time I touch a plant, it withers and dies.
Oh,
said Olive. Well, I also love gardening, and I thought I could plant these plants here. Do you say that, Olive? Come here, Olive.
I thought he planted these plants here.
She sort of said. Lee ran over to see what plants Olive had in her wheelbarrow. Fantastic, he said. I would love for them to be planted here, but if I touch them, they will wither and die. I don't know how many times he's got to say that. How many times? Olive said, I know what we can do. I'll plant all the plants that we want to grow, and you can do the weeding. What? Together, we can make this into the best garden ever. Yes, 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 said Lee excitedly. We can garden together. Olive and Lee worked on the garden together, and soon all the plants started growing, making a beautiful garden with no weeds. The locals started to notice the garden was looking better and would no longer hear Lee wail and crying. They soon realised they didn't need to be afraid of the haunted garden and began enjoying it too. The end.
Sorry?
Yeah?
Yeah.
You think that's good?
I was just going under there because I was itchy.
You were scared, weren't you?
No, I was itchy.
No,
I was itchy.
Oh, you weren't actually... Oh, okay. Well, that, everyone...
Again.
We'll do it again. It was a short story from Mr. Richard Suggett. Happy Halloween!
Who is Richard Suggett? Is your friend?
Yeah, Richard, yeah.
What?
Before we end this Halloween podcast, Olive has a scary story to tell you all.
Hello. Me and my daddy was walking in the woods far away and said, my daddy said, oh, it's too scary. And he said, it's fine. You never be scared in the woods. Okay, he said. You never be scared in the woods. Okay, he said. Okay, he said. And away he went with hold my hand. And then he heard, ooh, it was a ghost. What's that noise? It's a ghost. It's okay. You're not scared of a ghost. So I'm not scared. I am scared. You will never be scared of a ghost. Why do you ever be scared of a ghost? Because I am scared of a ghost. What is a ghost though? Do you know? No, I don't. Do you know what a ladybird is? Yeah, that's what wakes up in the morning. But why is it so scary? Ladybirds, they're not so scary of the dark, aren't they? They're so scary. Big creep leopard come in. A big huge one. Well, it had prickles on its back, and it was a gruffalo. It stomped and 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 it stomped. And it said, hello, Oliver Lee. Oh, I know you, a little girl said. Olive and Lee said, I know you. What is a monster though? Gruffalo said. I don't know. The three people said. Then they went off somewhere else and held his hands. And then they said, where is the monsters? Yes, I know where they are, the Gruffalo said. I know where. One is a ghost lived under and a fox lived under somewhere. But where are they? He said, Olive, what is that coming? That probably is the ghost, the Gruffalo said. Oh no! Hide! And then all hided. And then they said, ooh, Toasty, where are you? And they all hid it. But nothing never comes. A fox come into his den. They were hiding in there. A Grinch come over. So, wah! And hurt himself. The end. And everybody smiled. The end.
That was terrifying. Richard's done his story. You've done a story. I'll tell you a short story. There once was a podcaster. His name was Lee Connelly, also known as the Skinny Jean Gardener. And one day, he interviewed Monty Scary Don. The only podcaster in the world, yeah. I know, don't worry, yeah. The only podcaster in the world to interview Monty Don, and he put it in to the Gardener Media Guild Awards, ready with his speech to go on stage in November. He looked up on Twitter and saw he wasn't even shortlisted. Unbelievable. And that, my friends, is probably the scariest story you'll hear tonight. Happy Halloween. Oh, God.
Migration. Skinny Jane is not my lover. It's just a guy that taught me about gardening. Skinny Jane is not my lover. It's just a guy that taught me about gardening. Skinny Jane is not my lover. It's just a guy that taught me about gardening. Skinny Jane is not my lover. It's just a guy that taught me about gardening.
Hello and welcome to a very special World House show for the celebration of God's Christmas.
Carol finds idea of paradise. Carol, what brought you down to I've always I've always yearned for gardens when I got the opportunity.
This is a Sydney Gardener. Dotson.